Good morning guys, this is your Sir DOV again and welcome back for another Mythic Heroes video. So for today, we're going to talk about and discuss Loki and if Loki is good or not to be used for a new player, a mid player, or end game player. So I have a request from Discord and my YouTube channel asking some help about Loki, if he's good or not. And here it is, guys. And I think this is the right time to discuss Loki because we actually have a Loki skin here. And for free to play, it's actually there's a high possibility that we can get Loki skin for free in the Halloween Carnival. So you just need to watch my previous video explaining how you can get it from the Halloween Carnival. All right, so before we start, for those new players out there that doesn't have any Loki yet, if you want to use Loki, then let me just show you how Loki fight. Let's go to the portrait and go to Loki. So Loki is actually quite similar to Susanoo, if you know Susanoo. And as you can see here, Loki's skills are quite pretty good. And those illusions are doing AoE damage as well. A small AoE, but if you see they are clumped together, they are being hit at the same time. So look at that. So this is the dark counterpart of Susanoo. So Loki cannot be targeted once he uses his ultimate, just like Susanoo. Look at that. So yeah, Loki is actually quite pretty good for new players. If you want to use Loki, then yeah, he can be one of your main damagers. So let's check out his skills. So Chaos Face, this is his ultimate. Loki creates a phantom behind a random enemy and then sprints between all his phantoms, dealing damage equal to 375% of his attack to all enemies, units around each phantom. Ooh, so I knew it. So during the skill, Loki cannot be targeted. So yeah, he's doing dealing damage to all enemies around each phantom. So it's doing AoE. So at level 2, it increased damage dealt to 400%, level 3, 425%, and level 4, 450%. Wow. This is actually pretty good. Quite similar to Susanoo. So next is his double cross. So the double cross, at the beginning of the battle, Loki creates a phantom behind the hero directly opposed to him in the enemy formation. When Loki and his phantom accumulates 4 dodges, another phantom will be created next to another random enemy. There can be up to 3 phantoms in the battlefield at once. So yeah, this is one of the best passive for Loki, creating illusions. So Loki is pretty hard to be targeted. So one of the best, I guess, and if you are a new player, this will be good for campaigns because of those illusions. He is hard to target as long as you make him as your highest level hero, then he will be carrying you through the game. Additionally, increase Loki's dodge rate at level 2 by 20%. At level 3, Loki's dodge boost is increased to 25%. Pretty good dodge. At level 4, number of required dodge is reduced to 3. Wow. So he is actually a good dodger. So good dodger means good hero for campaigns. Okay. Next is the Soul Seaver. Loki strikes the enemy with the highest attack with his claws, dealing 100% damage and reducing the target's attack speed by 50% for 5 seconds. Whenever Loki or his phantom deal damage to any target during this time, 20% of the damage is additionally dealt to the target struck by Loki's claw. So Yeah, I think Loki is made for actually for campaign and early PvP stage because we all know in the early PvP stage in the early server, if you are free to play player, then we are only focusing on one or two heroes, right? So if you have Loki on your team, then Loki will then target that enemy right away with the highest attack power. And if that enemy with highest attack power it dies, then it's an easy win. So yeah, this is pretty good. At level 2, increase additional damage to 25%. Increase the duration at level 3. Increase additional damage to 30% at level 4, which is pretty good. Next, Arrogant Taint. It's an active skill. So all the last one is inactive. Loki and each of his phantom sprints towards the enemy who is furthest away from them, dealing damage equal to 75% of Loki's attack to each target. During the skill, Loki and his target or Loki and his phantoms cannot be targeted. Wow. Loki has dodge and Loki has this skills that cannot be targeted, which is pretty good. Increases damage dealt to 100% at level 2, at level 3, 125%, at level 4, 150%. So Loki is actually a pure carry. So there are no supportive skills and passive skills. This is a pure carry. So if you're looking for a pure carry, and then Loki is one of the best choice for a new player. If you like Dark Hero or Shadow Arch heroes, then you can definitely go with Loki. Alright, so next, let's check out his equipment. So here it is. Well, the equipment that you can use is definitely the Axe of Pangu. Alright, because for every auto attack, there is a 25 chance to deal extra 90% of hero's attack as true damage. And we also have an illusion, right? So there's a good chance that you can deal critical damage if you equip this fire rune. So if you're running campaign, then you can go with this. Then definitely make sure you also have an extra this one, the Stop of Shahur, because Loki is quite good for resource bosses and some other bosses as well. So make sure you have the Stop of Shahur. And by the way, guys, Loki is actually what I think, okay, is one of the best heroes that you can use for new player and endgame player for Trials of Ascension for the Dorado Bolt. So Dorado Bolt is where you can get gold, this gold. So the more damage you have for Dorado Bolt, the more gold you can get every day. So I would suggest you build Loki immediately for a new player. Loki or Susanoo or whichever you want for the gold, because the more gold you have, the more items that you can buy from the market, okay? And it's pretty important. So that is the equipment, okay? So Stop of Shahur and then Axe of Pangu. So make sure you have both of that equipment ready for boss fights and campaign. So for rune, you can either go with fire rune or lightning rune. It depends on the rune that you have, okay? But my suggestion is fire rune. Alright, so next, let's check out his weapon. Alright, so for his weapon at 100, it increased max health of phantoms by 10%. Okay, that's good. Phantoms are those illusions. Then at 200, when Loki receives fatal damage, the phantom with the lowest health will take his damage instead. This effect can be triggered up to 3 times. Alright, so this is actually a lifesaver for Loki, which is pretty good. and a 300 increase max health of phantoms by 20%. And at 400, but Loki receives fatal damage, the phantom with the lowest health will take this damage instead. This effect can be triggered up to 6 times. Okay, so Loki is actually quite pretty tanky because of this skill. So make sure if you have your Loki, for a new player, make sure you immediately upgrade Loki's weapon to 200 as fast as you can, because that will make him more tanky. Okay, all right, so let's check on his divinity. So what are the good divinity that we can use for Loki? All right, so first one, at the beginning of the battle, increase hero's attack by 6% until the end. Okay, that's good. 10 seconds after the battle starts, all enemy units lose 30 energy. Not good. After releasing ultimate, deals extra damage to one random enemies equal to 1 times 15 target. Okay, so this is pretty good. So this is the first one that you will use. Next, the 2 slot. Reduce hit energy restoration. Good for PvP. What about this? After applying a control skill, increase attack by 10%. Okay. After surpassing 300 energy. So this is actually better if you have a crowd controller in your lineup. I would suggest use this Psych Maestro if you have a crowd controller or a stunner. But if you don't have, then you can go with the Broken Mirror for the second one. Okay. Next, for the third. At the beginning of the battle, increase attack by 40%. This effect slowly declines to nothing during the next 20 seconds. Pretty good with PvP and campaign in some scenario. Next, 9 Phantasmal. When the hero is inflicted with a control skill, there's a 50% chance of nullifying skill immediately. Pretty good situational. Next, increase the damage dealt by hero summons by 40%. Well, summons, those illusions are count as summons. So if you want to increase your damage for your summons or illusions, then you can go with the Knight. But yeah, definitely you can go with the chaotic power, because the earlier you kill one enemy in the battlefield, the more easier to win the battle, right? So the Void chaotic power is good. So your lineup for divinity skills is chaotic power, and then Maestro if you have crowd controller, and this one right here, the obsession. All right, so for the antiques, we all know it's hard to upgrade antiques. So you just need to upgrade whatever you have here on the list if you are focusing on Susanoo. All right, so let's go with the team lineup for Susanoo. Okay, so this is the early game for a new player that I've created. So this is the early game phase for new player I have created. So I am factoring here the heroes that can be usable in the end game. So we all know Western Queen is usable for early game, mid game, and end game. So that's why she is always included on my list for new players to always watch out for and build. Next is Typhoon. If you are planning to build one UR, then definitely you can go with Typhoon, or you can go with Marduk, because Marduk is, we all know Marduk is now the best hero for UR. Okay. Next is Yi Sun Shin. Okay, Yi Sun Shin. It will, he will act as your tank and pretty good in the end game as well. So yeah, pretty good in the end game, and he is your tank for Guardian hero. So we are following one hero for faction that is one of the best a thing that you can do for new player and free to play. But if you're not free to play, then let's move on to the next lineup that I will be showing to you. Then next is the green or virgin hero. This one. So this one is Freya. Not only she is a good damage dealer in end game, early game, and mid game, she can also gives buffs to all our allies in the early game for fighters. So since Loki is a fighter, and then Freya is a good combination for her for the early game. So this is the perfect combination that I would suggest for a new player. So you have to build one UR, then it can either be this Marduk, or you can go with Lucifer. Depends on who you like, but Marduk, definitely no questions asked, one of the best UR, or the best UR right now in the game. All right, so for end game content, championship arena or other arenas, if you are looking for a good combo with Loki, then this is the best combo that I'm looking right now. So although I haven't got my Marduk to max, but this is what I think is the best combo, one of the best combo for Loki. So we have our healer attack, and we have two damager here, which is Loki and Marduk, and we have our crowd control Lucifer, and we have the factional bonus aura of 5:2, which greatly increase our attack and final damage. So you can utilize this combo for championship arena if you're planning to dominate a new server and you are planning to go with Shadow Arch team, then this is the best for you. Okay, so I think we've covered all for Loki, and if you're planning to get Loki as one of your team, make sure to get your Loki skins as well right now on the Halloween Carnival, and you can easily get that if you go to the pumpkin market, buy these two. Every coin that you have, use it for the rainbow candy and for the assorted candy box, so that you can complete 50 from here. So as you can see, I haven't bought anything yet, but I already have 13 out of 50 from here. If I will be buying those candies, I can easily get Loki from here. Alright, so that's it for now, and thank you very much guys for watching. I'll be doing Dangun next time, and watch out for that. Thank you very much. I'll see you again, and as always, thank you for supporting me guys. Goodbye for now.